This feeling of dissatisfaction, this background hum of anxiety, isn't a modern invention. It's a fundamental truth of being human, a truth the Buddha identified around 2,500 years ago. He gave it a name, Dukkha. Dukkha is a Pali word often translated as suffering, but its meaning is much deeper. It's not just about obvious pain like getting sick or losing someone you love. It also points to a more subtle, pervasive sense of unsatisfactoriness that colors our lives. It's the inherent friction of our existence. From a Buddhist perspective, there are two versions of the world in any given moment: the world as we want it to be, and the world as it actually is. Dukkha is the gap between those two worlds. To understand Dukkha, we have to look at what Buddhism calls the 3 marks of existence. These aren't doctrines you have to believe, but realities you can observe in your own life. The first is Anicca, or impermanence. Everything changes. Nothing is permanent. This isn't meant to be a depressing thought. It's just a fact. Our bodies age, our thoughts come and go, and our emotions shift like the weather. The joy you feel today will pass. The sorrow you feel will also pass. Our modern world, however, often denies this truth. We desperately cling to pleasant moments, trying to freeze them in time, and we push away unpleasant ones. This act of clinging to what is naturally flowing is a primary source of our suffering. We're trying to find solid ground in a world that is fundamentally a flowing river. The second mark is Anatta, or no self. This is maybe the most revolutionary of Buddhist ideas. It says there is no fixed, unchanging, independent self at the core of our being. The thing we call me isn't a solid object, but a dynamic process. It's a temporary collection of constantly changing parts: body, feelings, perceptions, thoughts, and consciousness. The 18th century philosopher David Hume came to a similar conclusion, noting that when he looked inward, he couldn't find a self, only a bundle of perceptions. Our ego is a story we tell ourselves, a useful tool for getting by, but not an ultimate reality. We spend our lives defending this fragile idea, polishing it, and feeling hurt when it's threatened. The anxiety of, "What will people think of me?" is a form of dukkha that comes from our attachment to this illusory self. The third mark is dukkha itself. When we don't see the reality of impermanence, anicca, and no self, anatta, suffering is the inevitable result. When we crave for things to be permanent in a world of constant change, we suffer. When we cling to a fixed idea of me, while we are in a constant state of flux, we suffer. Our modern world can be a dukkha amplifier. It constantly encourages us to build a stronger, more impressive self. We're taught to seek happiness by getting more things and experiences, attaching our well-being to these impermanent things. The Buddha taught that this very craving and attachment is the root cause of our suffering. We're like children building sandcastles at the edge of the ocean, crying every time a wave washes our creation away, failing to see the nature of both the sand and the sea. This is the deep unrest that defines our search for meaning.